It was a damp, dreary evening when Jacob stumbled upon the vintage television set at a yard sale. Its wooden frame and thick glass screen screamed nostalgia, a relic from a bygone era. He couldn't resist the charm and bought it for a mere $20, envisioning it as a quirky addition to his apartment. That night, Jacob plugged the TV into the wall socket. To his surprise, it flickered to life, static crackling before settling on a grainy black-and-white image. There were no channels, just a single broadcast. A news anchor, his face obscured by shadows, spoke in a monotone voice. "Good evening. Tonight's top story: a fire will break out at 42 Maple Street at precisely 11:15 p.m. Jacob chuckled, assuming it was some old pre-recorded broadcast. He glanced at his watch. 11 p.m. Curiosity piqued, he decided to drive to Maple Street, just a few blocks away. As he arrived, he saw nothing unusual. The street was quiet, the houses dark. He felt foolish for even coming. But then, at exactly 11:15 p.m., flames erupted from the house at 42 Maple Street. Jacob's heart raced as he called 911, watching in horror as the fire consumed the building. The next night, Jacob couldn't resist turning on the TV again. The same anchor appeared, delivering another chilling prediction. "Good evening. Tonight's top story: a car accident will occur at the intersection of Pine and Oak at 10:30 p.m. Jacob's pulse quickened. He drove to the intersection, arriving just in time to witness a car speeding through a red light, colliding with another vehicle. The sound of screeching tires and shattering glass echoed in his ears. Night after night, the TV continued its eerie broadcasts, each prediction more horrifying than the last. Jacob became obsessed, unable to tear himself away from the screen. He stopped sleeping, his eyes bloodshot and hollow. One evening, the anchor's tone shifted, a hint of malice creeping into his voice. "Good evening. Tonight's top story: a man named Jacob will meet a tragic end at 12 a.m. Jacob's blood ran cold. He glanced at the clock. 11:45 p.m. Panic set in as he frantically tried to unplug the TV, but it wouldn't budge. The screen flickered, the anchor's face now visible, a sinister grin spreading across his lips. Desperate, Jacob grabbed a hammer and smashed the TV. It shattered, sparks flying, but the broadcast continued, the voice now echoing through his apartment. "There's no escaping your fate, Jacob." The clock struck midnight. Jacob's heart pounded in his chest as he heard footsteps approaching from behind. He turned, but there was no one there. The room grew colder, shadows creeping along the walls. Suddenly, a sharp pain pierced his chest. He gasped, clutching at his heart, but there was no wound, no visible cause. The pain intensified, his vision blurring as he collapsed to the floor. As Jacob's life slipped away, the TV's screen flickered one last time, the anchor's voice a whisper in the darkness. "Good night, Jacob." The next morning, the police found Jacob's lifeless body, his face frozen in a mask of terror. The vintage TV lay in pieces, the room eerily silent, and somewhere in another yard sale, another vintage television set awaited its next victim, ready to broadcast the chilling events of the future.